I say, what ho, chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, fellows, and I dare say we are now discussing some rather interesting and, goodness me, quite controversial news for Minecraft concerning an apparent ban of the whole game.
We most certainly are, yes indeed, and quite controversial it is. It would seem the game you know and love that has been published all around the world and people play and kids play and even adults play has met with some rather serious, shall we say, rubbing of the chin by one particular country and saying, no, we're going to ban it.
Really?
Most certainly. Now, this country involved here is Turkey.
Turkey, right.
Indeed.
Okay, now Turkey are of course a country known in the past for various censorship acts that they've done. I mean, one time they banned Twitter, etc. and so forth. But this is actually taking this to a whole new level where they are specifically targeting a popular game and saying we're going to ban it.
They most certainly have, yes indeed. Now, the problem here is that they're saying what is wrong. You might say, well, what's wrong with Minecraft?
Exactly, what is wrong with Minecraft?
It hasn't got any swearing in it, it hasn't got any sort of, violence in terms of, limbs being cut off or whatever, or terrible other things that you see in some other games. What's wrong with it? Well, they said no. We think, they say, that it may encourage children to be violent.
What?
No, that's what they say.
Now, just hold on, just a minute, Bertie. I can understand people saying that games like, Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty might encourage violence in children, but really, Minecraft, violence?
Well, most certainly, and saying that awarding points for killing things in the game, they're saying, well, that could also encourage them to be violent and such like that.
Oh.
So we know that we've got in the game little cows and little pigs and things that are nice.
Right.
But they're saying this, but there's also enemies in it. And the children are encouraged, or the players are encouraged to kill these things, and that could make them have violent tendencies or thoughts, or perhaps, or maybe we've got a little picture of a little child here with, earphones on his head, whatever, in front of his computer screen, playing away, hacking away the zombies and skeletons, and as he's doing it, he's thinking to himself, this is nice, this is good, I like killing things, and they're trying to come from this angle, you see.
Yes, I know, there's been a huge upsurge in the number of plumbers in the world, old boy, since Mario came to light. There's just so many plumbers everywhere. I just don't understand it at all, old chap. I understand, yes, indeed. I think not, but
I see
anyway.
what you're saying there, and it's a good point.
Yes.
But you see, now these people, they're not just joking around with it, they're actually serious.
Yes.
The country's family and social policies minister, a chap, if I can say it right, Senor Islam, I believe, is rather concerned about this, and they're just saying a big fat no to it.
So basically, the report from the Turkey's Family and Social Policies Ministry apparently stated, although the game can be seen as encouraging creativity in children by letting them build houses, farmland and bridges, mobs, hostile creatures, must be killed in order to protect these structures. In short, the game is based on violence.
Yes, indeed.
That's what they said.
Well,
can you believe that, old chap? I mean, really?
Well, is it really? Just looking at that point there,
right?
And we see, because we all see what he's trying to say. Everyone listening understands
what they're trying to say.
What they're trying to say.
Right.
Yes, indeed. We understand that. But I mean, is it really that far removed from the truth anyway, in terms of they're actually having to protect their land from bad things? Well, doesn't that happen out there in society as a reality anyway? Don't we have police, etc., to actually protect things from bad people and bad things?
I think we're getting very deep now, old chap.
Well, we're going deep, but they've gone deep. We can't help it.
I mean, really. Now, apparently also the ministry was concerned that the game could lead to social isolation. Perhaps they're concerned of turning all these poor children into little nerd people, you'll see, who they don't have any social life. They can't talk to people. They're, shall we say, too reserved. And it's all because of Minecraft. It's all Minecraft's fault, you know.
Well, okay, let's
Whilst
look...
also, there was two points to that particular line of argument. They also said children could be exposed to social risks like, I don't know, threats and cyberbullying and nasty people online and that sort of thing, perhaps in the multiplayer mode of the game.
Well, yes, okay, well, let's look at those two things. They said that, and is this for real? We're not joking around here. They actually said they've said these things.
Yes.
So let's look, for example, at the abuse and bullying thing. Well, the thing is, you see, I mean, okay, they're online and they're playing, and maybe someone says something to them, whatever, but doesn't that happen in the playground anyway?
Well, of course.
For children, etc., and in life in general, and just looking at the social isolation thing, well, yes, we can understand, I suppose, if the kids are playing indeed any computer game, just stuck in front of a PC all day long playing computer games and getting into Minecraft, it could lead to social isolation, they say. But the thing is, you see, you could say that about the child going to the local library. Well, don't go down to the local library, little Johnny, because if you sit there all day looking at those books, you'll be socially isolated.
Socially isolated. You must.
See?
If you get socially isolated, you'll have no dinner tonight, okay? So don't do that, naughty Johnny. No, I don't think so. Now, of course, just picking up on that, it is the responsibility of the parents to ensure a child isn't socially isolated. Of course, the parent has to make sure that adequate restrictions are put in place so they don't play games for too long, and so basically they become and grow into a normal sort of person instead of one who's a closet sort of computer game player, as it were. But that really comes down to the family's choice and ultimately down to the person's choice. Is it really the place of the government to start saying, well, we've got to ban this game because it might make nerds out of people? I mean, I don't really see the logic behind that at all, old chap.
Well, no, indeed, but what an interesting game to
target.
To target. I mean, you've got all those other games out there. I mean, you know, your Battlefields, your Call of Duties, and your horror games, etc.
Exactly.
Whatever it might be. I'm not saying anything that's wrong with those particular games, just citing them for, you know, games that have violence in.
Yes.
But not leaving all those alone, but picking on Minecraft. Perhaps trying to suggest that Minecraft is getting the message of violence and nasty things across subtly, rather than something which is obviously in your face, like a Call of Duty type of game.
I think perhaps the Family Ministry of Turkey initially launched this investigation to find out whether or not Minecraft was encouraging violence against women, of all things. Perhaps because you can also have female characters in the multiplayer mode of the game, which could potentially be, shall we say, slain in-game in PvP, etc. and so forth. You could attack fellow players and knock them out. So you can also do that to female players. So I think the idea there was to investigate whether or not the game promoted that in the first place, and I'm not even going to comment on that, old chap.
Well, I was just about to say that. You know, we would actually talk about that, but that's absolutely so completely ridiculous we won't even give it the time to talk about it.
It's stupid, isn't it? So,
Yes.
I mean, they even the Turkey's ministry dismissed that idea,
Yes.
but they said instead, no, well, you know, you're going to have to defend your farmland and houses from monsters, and so therefore it's encouraging violence because you have to kill those monsters. Well, I just have another point I need to slip in there. Can't you turn the game to peaceful mode, which completely disables all monsters in the game? I mean, didn't they take that into account in their report?
I suppose you could do, yes indeed, but of course I think everyone would agree that Minecraft, the whole thing of Minecraft, is the creeper, the skeletons and the endermen and all the
yes, it is
scary
true.
things that are in there. So the thing is, you see, now, this is caused quite a stir, understandably. You know, a lot of people have had a big reaction over this, said, well, how can they possibly ban Minecraft, and could this be just the tip of the iceberg? Will other countries start to say, well, look, yes, we agree, let's ban Minecraft here and there and everywhere?
That's an awful thought, old chap.
Well, most certainly. Now, you may think, well, you let us know in the comments, etc., what you think, but Mr. Notch, obviously, people have been looking over there and saying, I wonder if Mr. Notch has got anything to say, and he probably felt he needed to say something, but at first he said, well, he was kind of avoiding to comment because he said, A, just lol, and B, he's not involved anymore, so why does he really care? But then he actually said that, well, okay, it is a game with having swords and explosions, etc., with lava and spooky skeletons, and parents should be aware, he said. Yes, but banning, he said, will groan.
Groan. I mean,
That's absolutely silly.
Groan is silly.
But then again, he did say parents should be aware, so he kind of does say, well, hang on, yes, there is something in there, there is an element that could upset children. So that's an interesting point.
Exactly. So like I said earlier, it comes down to the parent to ensure the child is raised properly, basically, and that they have certain controls put in place. So, for example, you wouldn't necessarily want a 9-year-old playing Call of Duty, although I'm sure many of them do, perhaps, but, perhaps a parent might not want their young children to be playing particularly graphic and violent and detailed games like that. But when it comes down to Minecraft, I think it is ultimately up to the discretion of the parent, and I think most parents out there aren't sort of seeing Minecraft as a game that's encouraging their child to go out and rob a bank or become, I don't know, some terrible criminal, a violent criminal, etc. and so forth. It's just not happening. It's not the case.
Well, yes,
it's a bit outlandish, I think.
Well, absolutely agree. Yes, I do think that it is the responsibility of the parents, to cover that sort of thing, because, how far do you want to take it? If you're saying that Minecraft's violent, well then, perhaps we shouldn't actually teach history in schools that covers, wars and violence and things and uprisings of the past, because, it might make people or children think violently and think, well, they want to do that.
Well,
so
exactly.
how far do you take it?
It gets a little bit silly and almost over into the area of brainwashing, depending on how far you go, old chap.
Exactly.
So, I mean, really, it's not the place of the government to go banning games that appear to be fairly innocent on the surface, like Minecraft. I mean, if anything needs a ban, so say, it would be the more violent games, but of course they're not banned, and so by the same token, Minecraft shouldn't really be banned either, if you ask me. Now, apparently, the Family Ministry's probe either way is, shall we say, in the early stages, they're going to file a complaint, apparently, and take this thing to court, wherein the judge is going to decide whether or not to inflict a ban on Minecraft in Turkey.
Oh yes, they mean business with the big B-A-N-N ban word, or B-A-N-N-E-D banned word, just on the table there. So we'll have to see.
I mean, is not his flagship game going to get the ban hammer in Turkey for real? I just can't believe it, Elsham.
Well, exactly, and if it
Seems
does...
so silly.
Well, yes, exactly, it does. And if it does, will it mean that other countries will then move in and ban it too?
I can't imagine what might happen, Elby, but certainly I can't really see that standing in court. I mean, it's just so silly. If I was a defence lawyer on the case, the first thing I would say is, what about other games that are banned? If you ban Minecraft, you would have to ban rafts of games. I mean,
well, exactly.
It's ridiculous, you
well,
know.
exactly. It's an interesting point, and no doubt the eyes of the entire Minecraft community will be on it. What a subject, my word.
Well, I say quite some news there, fellows. Now, do we have any news, old boy, on subjects other than banning Minecraft?
Well, we most certainly do, yes indeed. I fed the birds this morning.
Not that sort of news.
No, okay, yes. No. Yes, we do have some other views, Minecraft-based. Now, as we know, lots have been going on, or actually not much has been going on with Minecraft in terms of new things being added recently.
I think lots has been going on behind the scenes, though.
Well, behind the scenes, yes, but since they've sold over to Minecraft, we haven't seen...
Microsoft?
Microsoft, I mean. We haven't seen new mobs and things like that.
Yes.
But Mr. Jebb's obviously been doing things.
Right.
And he's trying, thinking about adding something, and here is a small little picture.
Indeed, fellows. Now, this particular photograph is not from Jebb's computer, actually. This is something that Jebb commented on and said apparently this is the kind of thing that makes him happy because he's working on a new block. Now, of course, this is all very cryptic, you see. We don't actually know what that block is actually going to be, but we do know today Mr. Jebb, I believe, said he'd used a certain program to make a new block model, which of course was good. But again, apart from that little picture there and that small hint today, we don't have any ideas about what this new block might be.
Well, we don't.
Is it going to be something to do with the underwater side of Minecraft, perhaps?
Well, it could be. He's obviously commenting that, looking at that particular picture is referring to this block. I hope he just doesn't mean he's moved offices down to the next block and they look like that.
Yes,
hopefully not.
Indeed.
But no,
indeed.
we think he's actually a block for Minecraft.
Right.
And obviously what we see there in some way refers to this block he's perhaps working on.
Well, we can see here a number of things. We can see obviously the underwater element there very clearly, but also there's a number of these shapes. We've got slabs, you've got steps, etc. and so forth there. Maybe Jebb's hinting that this particular block, especially since he had to make a new model for it, will actually contain a custom shape on the block. So it won't be sort of just one cube. It's going to have some surfaces, some faces, some edges, some detail to that block that'll make it something different from what perhaps we've seen before, I think. I mean, it's of course very hard to predict at this stage what it could be, but it's quite fun to speculate.
It is, yes, and of course we've got lamps there as well. Could it have some form of, could it illuminate somehow? We don't know. Could it emit light?
Maybe.
We just don't know. But nevertheless, we from what we see him, what we hear Mr. Jebb saying, he is indeed working on a block which gives us hope for the future, perhaps for things being added to Minecraft, rather than just things underneath the surface, as it were.
That's right, and of course we understand that Microsoft are now in charge of the game, so with Microsoft come a raft of, shall we say, modernizations and things to fit their vision for games, and I understand one of the things they're currently working on, the rest of the Mojang team, may be, shall we say, the accessibility side of Minecraft. In other words, making it more accessible for those with disabilities, etc. and so forth.
Well, yes, now that sounds like, it could be wrong, but it's very possible that Microsoft had a little word there with regard to that, introducing things such as closed captions and things within the game, and they are working on that at the moment, apparently.
That's right. Of course, we do have many accessibility features already in Windows, so it's something that Microsoft are quite keen on. It is one of their hallmarks, if you will, so I wouldn't at all be surprised to hear that Microsoft were behind this idea, and perhaps accessibility options are something that we also may be seeing soon in Minecraft.
Certainly. Now, how that would work with things popping up on the screen, etc., so forth, when you're playing the game, we don't know. Presumably, you'll be able to turn it on and off if you want to.
I think so.
But it's an interesting thing there that they're working on, and it has a Microsofty feel about it, I think.
Indeed. Perhaps when you mouse over a certain block, you'll see, for example, the name of the block popping up on the screen.
Yes, indeed. That's perhaps one way they could do it, yes.
Or you could perhaps look at a chest and see the contents of the chest without having to open it. Just a couple of ideas there.
Yes, indeed. That's a good point, I suppose, yes.
So there you go, Fails. A most shocking turn of events here there relating to banning of Minecraft. I still can't get over that one, old chap. Of course, a new block which we know is coming soon and may well have a custom model and also work on accessibility options. There you are. Quite some news, I say.
Well, it most certainly is. What do you think about it all? Are you in a country that you think, oh no, they might ban it in my country now if this goes ahead?
I hope not. Oh, my word, indeed. That would be dire news indeed for the whole industry, I'm sure, old chap. But there you are. This has indeed been Game Chef and Berry, then bringing you the latest Minecraft news. Join us once more on the next exciting outing, I say. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then.